coalition against Galamsey in Ghana. You have done a number of things within this very short time, written to the president, written to the speaker. You brought the IGP in to do some arrests and so on and so forth. Where are we as far as the threat of Galamsey is concerned, sir?
Well, thank you very much, Thompson. And well, the challenge we faced from August last year up to date has not abated. It is interesting to note that since the government came into power, even before the government came in, we saw that transitioning that happened in 2016, 2017, where the criminals in the NDC government were taken over by the criminals in the NPP government and started the illegality. I call them criminals because they engaged in an illegality. And as early as December, we saw that transition beginning, the retransition beginning to happen. And on the 20th of December, Oheminteria was attacked, in one of these instances. And that is happening. And so I agree with Honorable when he talks about the fact that we're hearing a lot of talk. But you see, the turbidity of the water has not improved. The Bonsa water treatment plant has actually been shut down, and the issues about the poisoning from heavy metals is continuing. So unlike corruption, where His Excellency got aura in place and they were acting, then you come to the issue of energy, where John Jinapor and his team worked on it. You come to education, where there was no food in the senior high schools, and we saw some action. All we have been hearing is a lot of talk, which is good, because at some point we wrote to the president to issue the cease and desist. But you need to accompany that rhetoric with a lot of action. And so it is important that the action, we begin to start seeing the action take place. But let me make one particular point. I disagree with the Honorable when he talks about the fact that it's not important for the president to ask that his government do not get involved in mining. One of the major reasons for the failure of the former government was because the firefighters themselves became the arsonists. Those we had put into power, to be able to regulate this particular activity were actually involved in it. I can give you two clear examples. The MPP's Ashanti Regional Chairperson was named by the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources for being involved in an illegality, of which we had a lot of evidence. When I sat on the same platform with His Excellency the President in Koforidua, and I confronted him about what he was doing about Akonta mining, because that was his Ashanti Regional Chairman, what he said to me was that he was not engaged in Galamsey as we spoke. We also saw the example of the DC for Bosomem Freo, who was also engaged in an illegality, confessed that he was engaged in an illegality. All we saw was the fact that he had been dismissed. So if you don't set the clear examples, and because, again, as my brother said about what gold is as a spirit, if you don't do that delineation, we're not going to win this fight. So it is going to be very important that His Excellency draws the line. If you want to engage in a leave government, so that when you are found, to be engaging in something that is illegal, it's easy because our politicians have demonstrated that they are not able to deal with their own. So I think that is an important thing.
You, Martin Kpebu, Kwame Sapong-Asiedu, you took a petition to the IGP over the Wontumi situation. Nothing has happened. You've given up. You're not pursuing it any further. You've now taken a new petition about the MP for Awowim, even though he has denied the claims that he's involved in mining. And now there's a counter, accusation against the chief who accused him. So, not at all. Fortunately, yesterday we were at the police headquarters to give our statement for the Awen issue. And we also, I think it was Wednesday, I was having a chat with Martin. We are going to be going back again to the IGP, because
that case, the case of Akonta mining, there was this evidence from even the Forestry Commission and all of that. So it is important that would happen. Again, His Excellency, the President, had mentioned when he was a particular statement he made, which I disagree about the clemency for all of those who had been jailed for Galamsey.
Yeah.
But the second part, I agree that the kingpins themselves are not being arrested. And so the president needs to demonstrate that when we mention a politically exposed person engaged in that, I am hoping that before even our petition as private citizens, His Excellency the President would take action on the issues of Wontumi. He would also take actions on those named by Professor Frimpong Boateng, because the state has the power to be able to investigate all of these things. Individuals as we are, we will struggle to be able to do that. And so it is important that in all of these situations, some action is taken. We've written to the president about our own MP, the speaker as well, and then IGP. I'm not too sure whether the other two have spoken to the IGP and the reason why this is beginning to take place. Action has to take place. And Samson, let me add this. When you have the Ashanti regional minister says that he's issuing a 2-week ultimatum for people who are involved in an illegality, because he talks about mining on the water bodies and on the buffers of the water bodies. It's an illegality. It's akin to say that, some people doing armed robbery, and what you're doing is that you are giving them 2 weeks for them to continue the armed robbery and then be able to take out the evidence that you need. I don't think that should be the attitude at which we handle these things. An illegality is an illegality. That's why you don't even ban it.
Emmanuel,
you deal with it straight.
Emmanuel Kofi Amaboa has been gathering chiefs and seeking their buy-in in Cape Coast, and we suspect that is the mood he's going to take. How effective is that going to be?
I think that it is an important part of it.
Okay, so his line
the things that we look up.
Okay. Your line is getting bad. Thank you very much for the input you have made so far. Kenneth Ashigbey is the one of the conveners of the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey. That is a new group, bigger than the one that he was leading first, the Media Coalition. Okay, now let me come to, because he was there. Yeah. Vera, wait, let's hear from him before you speak.
Well, I think
is President Mahama showing enough commitment?
I think there's no dispute